Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out the podcast, Drinks with Johnny. I am your host, Johnny Christ, and I have the esteemed honor of introducing you to my very special guest today, the very strong, the very confident, the very healthy, the very funny actor-comedian, Mr. Ron Funches. So let's get to it.
Oh, you made me change my posture the more you talked about me.
Thanks for being on the show, man.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This is awesome, man. So let's just get right into it. At the top of my show, I usually make some sort of drink.
Okay.
I know that you're not a drinker at all, so I'll be the one partaking today. But I went out and found a recipe that is inspired by your Trolls character, Cooper.
Okay. So well, I mean, a lot of people might think it's not a good idea to make an alcoholic drink after a child's cartoon.
Oh, is that supposed to be for kids?
You know what?
I love the movie.
Everybody can enjoy it. I think you're right. Go see the sequel.
You could probably
Parents get drunk.
Yeah. I'm excited about the sequel, by the way, man.
I am too.
So, in spirit of that, real quick, while I'm going to go ahead and make this drink, I just wanted to ask a couple things about the Trolls project you did, man.
Okay.
I know you did the whole voiceover thing. You've done that quite a bit over your career here. And I wondered specifically on this one, how was it like doing the voiceovers? Are you just in a studio by yourself? Do you have interaction with some of the other cast members on this particular project, or is it mostly you guys just all getting in your own solo time in the studio and they mesh it all together later?
With this one, some of them, like I've done a lot of episodes of like Bob's Burgers or this show called Final Space, where it's a smaller show and it kind of can get everybody together. And those are really fun. But for this one, I've never for the beginning one, the sequel, I've never even spent any time with any other castmates except for when we shot the music video last time. So it's just usually me in a room with two producers who are really, really great at their job.
Okay.
And we just kind of go back and forth, and they're really good at acting it out because they've been dealing with the project for years, and now I'm kind of good at just kind of staying in that character because I did the movie, and I'm actually the only guy from the movie that also does the Netflix show.
Yeah, the TV show.
Yeah, and so I've been doing it it's like actually probably my longest running job in my entire life.
Wow.
Is being this giraffe
Cooper.
that poops cupcake.
That's fantastic, man. So I'm a big fan of that. So in honor of Cooper, we got this drink. It's actually going to be a bit of a shot, actually. So we're going to take some whipped flavored vodka.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to be a little cupcakey. I'm not going to lie. So we're going to take 2 ounce pour on that. Maybe a little extra. You never know. And then we're going to take a cake flavored vodka. So 2 different kinds of vodka are going in this.
Nah, I would like sometimes do just a regular cake with this as well. It seems like
you could definitely make a little. Hey, you could make a little weed cake with that.
Okay.
A little flavor like that, The alcohol will probably cook out, So you're gonna take another 2 ounce pour of that. A little extra because I like that one a little better. And then you're gonna take French vanilla creamer. Any kind works, but I'm cheap, so I just got the Coffee Mate. And then we're gonna do a 2 ounce pour of that. Now we're gonna add some grenadine first.
Oh, you gotta have grenadine.
Because Cooper's pink.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get a little Cooper hue to the drink, if you will.
That's just one of my favorite flavors.
Grenadine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I used to drink it in cherry colas all the time.
Oh, dude, I love it. Shirley Temples?
Oh yeah, I love it. Shirley Temple, Roy Rogers. Come on.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna give this a few shakes. While that sets for a second, I'm gonna take my Drinks with Johnny shot glass. I don't know if you knew I had my own shot glasses.
Custom.
Yeah, and we're going to roll it around in some blue sparkles here. We're just going to roll that all the way around.
How long have you been drinking?
It's been a while.
You seem like an expert.
I don't know about that. So then we got our... I know how to drink it. Let's say that. All right? Then we're just going to pour that right inside. And then you have your color. You have your nice little Cooper inspired Trolls shot. And now I get to taste it.
How is it?
It tastes like a fucking cupcake.
Okay.
It's delicious.
That seems like good. Like if you have a date over, you might pull that out.
Yeah, you might. Yeah. depending on the kind of date.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that seemed like single mom, you know. You bring the kid over with her, and then you watch Trolls together.
Man.
You got a milkshake for the kid, Troll shots for the mom.
So when I'm ready to look for my second wife, he's got the idea.
Oh, I know how to do it.
So, you know, it's a delicious shot. I really do like it. I like that it was inspired by Cooper, your character in Trolls. But it's not something I could drink a lot of, so I'm going to have a beer.
Okay.
And I know that you're a big wrestling fan. I just found this beer today. It's actually Stone Cold Steve Austin's IPA.
You got the Stone Cold Broken Skull IPA?
Yeah, out of El Segundo, brewery. I have not tried it yet. This is not the tap for this, by the way.
It's
this
appropriate.
It is appropriate, right? I
Yeah.
found it at the same keg store I was at today.
It should be illegal to drink his beer from anything but that.
I'm thinking it's the same. So we're going to pour this, my man. And then we're going to get over to the couch and let that settle, because that is a lot of head right there. All right, Ron, now we got you here on the couch. I want to hear a little bit about what started it all. What got you into stand-up comedy, where I believe your career kind of started in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I just love it since I was a child. Since I was 5 years old, my mom take me to the old Hollywood video stores, and we would get, we'd always pick videos. My sister would get something. I'd get like a wrestling video or some old WCW tape or some Richard Pryor tape, and my mom would also introduce me to a lot of stand-ups, and that kind of introduced my love of it. Probably 5 years old and watching I Love Lucy and stuff like that. It's just
snap.
something I've always been really interested in. But it took me, get my son. I had my son when I was 20, and then he was diagnosed with autism when I was 22, and it kind of like jump-started my mind of being like, I better get a career,
Yeah.
And so started open micing and just been hustling for like 13 years now.
Yeah, well, that hustling seems to be paying off. But real quick, I just want to, you glossed over something that I don't think all the kids at home know. What the fuck is a Hollywood video?
A Hollywood Video was the main competitor of Blockbuster Video.
Which is where you used to go to rent VHS tapes back in our day, and then it later became DVDs, and then they became the dusty looking books in the corner of the fucking room.
Then they became Barnes and Nobles, and then that also went under.
Yeah.
And so now they're mostly probably spaghetti warehouses.
Yeah. Who was one of your favorite comedians starting? I know you mentioned Richard Pryor in your
My favorite growing up were always like Mitch Hedberg, Dave Chappelle. I was a big fan of Brett Butler when I was younger. Also, Samore, who is just a sassy, just wonderful black Queen comedian. I used to watch a lot of the Queens of comedy, like Monique and Samore and Adele Givens, and then just kind of spread out through there. Seinfeld was a big influence for me. Larry David.
Oh, Larry David.
Yeah. So those are the things that kind of shaped my world, and then I started kind of going back and studying, and really fell in love with like Carol Burnett and her whole crew, and man, I can't remember her name right now, but Mama's Family, the lady who played Mama's from Mama's Family, who came from the Carol Burnett family, and she was Vicki Lawrence. That's her name. And yeah, and I just kind of like my whole life I've been into like that whole sitcom world. It's always interested me, always made me happy.
So that actually kind of shows up. You mentioned one of the names that I was going to ask about, and some of the stuff you've done in your career was Larry David. I saw that you did a little bit of stuff with Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I did. Now, again, did you have any interaction with Larry at all, or anything like that on that set, or was that?
Oh yeah, that was the best part about the whole process, was that even the audition was fun, because the audition was you just showing up and Larry's there and Jeff Garland's there and the casting agent's there, and you kind of just improvise a scene together with Larry David at the audition.
That's pretty cool.
And so I went in for a different part, and then they gave me the part they gave me, and I just came in and it's all improvising, and I had kind of done an improvised scene in another show before, and it didn't go that well, I felt, and they kind of cut most of it out. So I was really like, I was like, make a meal of it, have a lot of fun, just keep talking until he tells you to shut up.
Yeah.
And
give him everything.
Yeah. And then we did a couple of takes, and then Larry just walks over to me and he's like, you're really making a meal out of this. And I was that was exactly what I needed to hear. And
yeah, you got it. That's great.
Got exactly what I wanted. And they even like took the deleted scene and posted it out online and stuff. So it made me feel like, I did a good job.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's awesome. You also just mentioned I was asking about your influences, the sitcom comedy stuff, and I know you were on for a few episodes with Matt LeBlanc on Man with a Plan.
Yeah.
How was that project like? You mentioned, I just listened to your podcast. You mentioned something pretty funny about it when you were live in Montreal. About I don't know how true it was, but you said that Matt LeBlanc didn't find you funny.
Oh, I mean, it was more of a joke that like, I don't think he was that connected to the stand-up community, so he didn't really know who I was when I got there, and so I kind of over the weeks had to be like show him like, oh, I do jokes and I'm a funny guy. And by the time at the end of it, like we got to know each other a little better. And he was a nice guy, real professional. And Kevin Nealon was there, and like I love that guy. He's like a hero of mine. And so and then learning from Stacy Keach, who's this like classic actor, and I learned a lot from him. And it was a real, I mean, it was a fun, it was weird because I always wanted to be on like a CBS show and stuff. It was fun, and I just kind of go down, do a couple lines, and I went back upstairs and play Spider-Man on my PlayStation, and then we'll go home and get paid. And I was like, this is a pretty fun job.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig, but also at the same time, I was like, oh, I kind of like, I love creating my own material. I love creating my own jokes and stuff, and that was like the first time where I had a job where it was really like, hey, just say what we want you to say, and then we're done. And it was still fun. I still learned a lot, but I was like, maybe I don't want to do this again until I'm older.
Yeah, well, that brings me to the other kind of sitcom show you did too, though, Undateable. There's a couple things I wanted to ask you about that one, but specifically when you said you like,
like I put my foot in your shot.
Nah, it's cool. We're just checking out the kicks, dude. No, like there was a whole season. I guess you guys did a live thing on that. So was that another show where you were saying like, were you able, especially when they're doing live, were you able to kind of do your own thing, or was that still?
That's what spoiled me. That's what made me kind of like, I think for a couple of shows afterwards, it was kind of not necessarily a jerk, but I was a little difficult because I was used to being like, well, I just make up the joke, because we would literally get scripts on Undateable that would come in unfinished, and they would just be like, Ron makes joke here, Chris makes joke here, and they would just trust us to come up with something.
That's pretty incredible.
It was amazing. It was so much
fun.
I
got to believe that's not very many shows like that.
I don't think so. Maybe it's also why I got canceled right after that. But
I hope that's not the reason why I got canceled.
But it was thrilling, and the fact that people still bring it up to me like years after it was canceled, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, no, from the bits and pieces that I've seen, I think it was really funny, man. I liked it.
It was a really good show.
Yeah. There's another person I wanted to ask you about. Another person that actually I watched growing up and kind of inspired me in a way to do this kind of show, where I'm the host, which I'm a fucking bass player in a band. Like, what do I know about hosting a show, right? But I grew up watching
I think
Conan
you
O'Brien.
know a lot.
I know by learning other people.
I'll tell you why I would think a bass player would be good at hosting a show.
How's that?
Is because you got to keep the pace, you got to keep a rhythm, and you got to be, it pays to be funky.
Well, that's the funky part is true. And I don't have to keep the pace quite as much. I got to follow the pace. There's drummers keeping the pace. So these guys off the camera are the ones writing shit down and telling me how to keep the pace. I'm following it. And I'm going to come off of your pace too. That's what we're going to do here. That's what we're going to do. So back to that, one of the people that I think a comedy genius, and especially as a late night or host of something, is Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, for
sure.
And
I know you've done a lot of stuff with him at this point, right?
Yeah,
Can you explain to me any anecdotes or stories you have about Conan?
I mean, I just think like it's kind of hard to put into words, just like how much this guy loves stand-up comedy and how helpful he is for comedians and me in particular. He's helped me a lot. You know, he was the first person to put me on TV on his show, the first person to then be like, you don't just have to come out and do jokes. You can come and sit on the couch. We consider you like a celebrity. We consider you a friend. Man. And where a lot of other places were like, no, we don't, no.
Yeah. No, what's funny though is that's something I hear from a lot of stand-up comedians over the years. They always talk about, well, for them, the ones that I look up to, I'm showing my age here though, but the ones that I grew up watching were always, when Johnny Carson invited you onto the chair, you know you had something special.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's very similar for comedians my age, I think. And then not just that, just the things he's doing as far as like he took me out on tour and took a bunch of people out on a tour, and he's been sponsoring these tours. Like he's doing a thing now where I'm doing my gigs out in Austin in October, and he's basically promoting the tour, promoting a bunch of other comedians' weekend under a banner of his Team Coco weekend, and then it pays me extra money, and then it also gets people into my shows.
Yeah.
And it's like
That's a win-win right
yeah,
there.
he doesn't have to do that,
Yeah.
you know. And I look at stuff like
It's really-
that,
yeah.
and it's the guy who's really trying to keep the like art form going. And
Yeah.
and he's just like kindest dude, and it means and just smart and hilarious. So I
Yeah.
got nothing but great things to say.
That's
about that guy.
fantastic. I love hearing about that because I've never had the pleasure of meeting him or anything like that, but it seems like everything you just said through the podcast, through the show, through everything that I've watched over his career, it seems that way. So that's really cool to hear. And then there was Drunk History. For a guy who doesn't drink.
Yeah.
So you did a few episodes on that, and obviously you don't drink, so you're not the guy sitting there getting drunk and talking a lot about history, but you're acting out what that drunk person's doing.
Yeah.
Did you ever drink at any point in your life so you know what it is to be drunk, or were you just always more of a pot smoker or everything like that?
Well, I tried to drink a couple times when I was a teenager, and then I found out that like my throat would close up and I would projectile vomit and I go into shock. I'm allergic. So
Wow.
I tried a couple times because it takes a while to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, everyone throws up the first couple times they
Exactly.
try it.
That's what my friends were
without the
like.
allergy or not.
They're like, let's try a different drink. And then it just took a couple times to go like, oh no, I'm drinking 2 beers and feeling like this.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
not right.
It was just like, oh, drinking's not for me. But Drunk History is just super fun because the guy, Derek Waters, who made it is like literally like one of the nicest guy in all of Hollywood. Like
Really?
He's like the coolest dude. He's
That's
just a chill
rad.
dude. He's smart and funny. He makes you real comfortable on set, and he's just like put me in a position to play these fun characters with a lot of other like really great actors that I got to work with that I wouldn't have gotten to work with otherwise. So I think they're like he's got a whole new thing coming out now, so I'm really excited for what he does.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw Derek Waters for the first time in Hall Pass. He had that role in there, but and then I was a big fan of Drunk History and everything like that, So, speaking of history, though, I also know that you're big into conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So when you're having to act out this drunkard's version of this history, are you thinking about like when you're reading? Are you thinking about some of the conspiracy theories that you follow that have anything to do with that?
Yeah, always. It's always fun to think about that, and that's usually kind of fun of the show is that sometimes they'll dig into some of that. And yeah, but my whole life I've just been, even if it's not true, I've always been into like what sounds more fun. So that's my vibe. Basically.
I don't really care if it's real or not. It
Yeah.
already happened. What happened has happened. But
It's more. Aliens don't exist. Ghosts don't exist. Okay, then it's fucking boring.
yeah, it'd be a lot cooler. Like Wise Man once said, it'd be a lot cooler if it did.
Yes, exactly.
No, that's funny. I watched Ancient Aliens a lot. You watch Ancient Aliens?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Watch
Yeah,
Ancient
yeah.
Aliens a lot. My wife and for a while I was like really into it, and then I started going, wait a minute, he keeps saying the same fucking thing.
Yeah, the guy with the big blowout hair. Yeah, he
Actually,
always does.
One of my buddies is in a band called the Vandals. Joe Escalante was sitting there. He's like a writer on the show. He was giving me a little lowdown on it. I was like, all right. It's a fun show though.
I'm
I do.
interested in
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Talk about that behind the cameras. All right. There's another thing before I continue with your awesome career. I saw that you did something called Killing Hasselhoff. You were a part in this.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this is. Can you fill me in on what the fuck Killing Hasselhoff was?
Yeah, it is a movie. It is a horrible movie starring a bunch of great people.
Awesome.
But it's not good. I play a character named Bill Sagliano, if that makes any sense.
Sagliano. You look exactly like a Sagliano.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that is perfect.
just-
Straight from Jersey. Sagliano.
Yeah. It was a movie about kind of creating like a celebrity death pool. There was like this trend of betting on like which celebrity could die next, and so this was kind of a movie about a group of people who had a pool like that, and one guy really needed his celebrity to die, which sounds very morbid.
Fucking sounds morbid as fuck.
Yeah,
This is a comedy?
It is a comedy, but again, it is not good.
No.
It stars Dr. Ken. I'm in it. There's like some really great people in the movie, but it's not good. Go check it out.
Go check it out. It's not good. Go check it out. I love that. Speaking of other movies that I have not seen, but I had to ask you about what was the Donald Trump parody?
The Art of the Deal movie thing.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, it was a fun opportunity because the character I was playing was a member of the Fat Boys, and I'm a big fan of the Fat Boys. I love rap my whole life. I love classic rap. I love rap about food. I miss those days. Why has rap gotta be always about murder and sex? Why can't it be about a Philly cheesesteak?
This guy is talking some real shit about music right now. I like it.
Yeah, more variety. I miss it when there was just a song about all you could eat buffets. That's more relatable to me.
Yeah.
I'm less likely to murder or I probably have sex with multiple women on a night. I am more likely to visit an all-you-could-eat buffet.
Oh, shit.
So that's what I love.
Were you sad when the scarcity of Sizzlers started happening then?
Oh, I mean, that just ruined my childhood.
There's none around anymore, man.
That's what I was all about, eating that Jell-O, getting a stale cookie.
I was all about the fucking stale hard shell taco and just loading it up with what was supposed to be meat and fucking going at it. I love that.
Oh yeah, it was gnarly. It was not good. Definitely not healthy, but I miss it. I miss all those theme restaurants of Bennigan's.
Dude. So that brings me to one other thing. You semi-recently, now it's been out for a little while now, did your first special.
First hour special.
With Giggle Fit.
Yeah, Comedy
So
Central.
I watched that, and see, I never realized, my first introduction to you was as Cooper. I have a 2-year-old son. When the movie first came out, I think I'd just come back from a tour in Europe, and I was holding him like this, a couple months old. And we watched Trolls. And, obviously he didn't watch Trolls. But I sat there with my wife and we watched Trolls. He fell asleep and I loved the movie and did some research after that. And you've lost a lot of weight. You mentioned that in Giggle Fit and everything like that. So for me, when I saw you in Giggle Fit, it was like the first time I actually laid eyes on you. I was like, oh, you used to be big? I didn't know that.
Yeah. That's what's so weird for me is my friend has to remind me that. He's like, sometimes I'll try to do jokes about it. And he's like, you have to frame it and remind people what your weight was because if not, it just sounds like you're fat shaming. And so,
fat shaming from a person that's fucked up. I like it.
Yeah. But then I was also like, oh, that's how they look at me. It's like, they're like, you're not one of us anymore.
Yeah, he's done. He's done.
Yeah, but yeah, he used to be my heaviest. I was 360 pounds, and just kind of, it was mostly on me, It was a lot of depression issues, things like that. Wasn't taking care of myself. It took me getting a little bit of success and doing things and being like, oh, I'm doing this and I don't really even know what I'm doing. What if I really focus on my life? What if I really invest in myself? Really take my opportunity in my craft seriously? And so, and also my mom was really helpful in it and just real honest with me and her concerns for me and being on Undateable, the showrunner there, a guy named Bill Lawrence who created Scrubs and Spin City and a couple other great shows. And he was just like, look, I've noticed you trying to lose weight, and then I noticed you put on some more weight because it was always kind of kept in check by the fact I didn't have money. But once I had some money, it was like Postmates all the time and not exercising. And then I got a trainer, kind of really focused on my diet, and just do that. Just lost 140 pounds, still struggling on it, still working on it.
Yeah, no, I mean everyone struggles with their own weight. I feel like I was never that big, but I drink a lot, so I have to balance it out as often as I can. 'Cause this shit will get you fat.
Oh yeah, a lot of catch your calories, but not in that Stone Cold IPA.
Not in Stone Cold IPA. That one. Can I get a hell yeah for Stone Cold IPA? Hell yeah. So the other thing that I noticed, that I'm glad you brought back this is perfect segue right here. I almost feel like you read my mind or my board over there. And so at the top of this Giggle Fit thing, I see one of my all-time favorite pro wrestlers, Ric Flair, Hall of Famer, woo, the Nature Boy.
Woo! I'll do it. I'm not gonna leave you alone.
I love it. So yeah, so how the fuck did you meet Ric Flair? How was this thing? Did you just like reach out and be like, hey, I'm a big fan. Will you be at the beginning of Giggle Fit? Also, segue me into the robe, because I know that was one of his fucking robes. I want to know which robe that was.
Okay, I love to talk about it. So basically, once I realized that the special was going to be coming out on Comedy Central, and that you're going to have to like buy it on iTunes, and the people are going to have to spend a little bit of money, like $5 on iTunes. You can get it now, Google Play, wherever you want.
I bought it. You guys should buy it too. You got to check it out.
It's
I know
great.
everyone wants the Netflix thing. I saw
Yeah.
you tweet back at somebody about
Yeah.
that. It was a good back one though. I liked it.
Yeah, and I get the perception of it, because it's easier. Click on it. You're already paying the monthly fee and whatever. And so that was part of it. It's like, oh, how can I fight that perception? How can I make this special stand out, make it look great? And I also just came into the mindset of going like, what if this is my only special ever? I want to get anything that I want out of it.
Yeah.
And I love wrestling. Been a fan of my whole life. And one of the things that I love about wrestling is the big entrances. Been a big fan of Ric Flair. So I kind of knew I wanted to do this robe thing and I wanted to do this entrance. And I met Ric Flair a couple of times. I'd even been on this show called At Midnight where I dressed up as him for a Halloween episode. And he saw that, apparently. And so
Yeah.
I met him at a WrestleMania. And he was like, oh, I heard about the At Midnight thing. He's like, I love your respect for me. He took a picture with me. He was a very nice guy. And fast forward a couple of years, I actually became friends with his stepson, or his son-in-law, son-in-law Conrad Thompson, who
I love
Yeah.
listening. I don't know Conrad Thompson. Don't mean to interrupt you, but
No.
I've been listening to 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff for the last year since it started, and I just love that. I absolutely love that show. Props to that fucking podcast.
Oh yeah, check out all his podcasts. 83 Weeks, Something to Wrestle With.
Yeah.
Tony Schiavone one, which is not as good. Just playing with you, Tony. You know I love you.
You fucking with Schiavone?
I love Tony Schiavone.
Shivani seems like a nice guy.
He's the best. He's actually one of the. It's so weird to grow up watching him and then meet him and then like he'll text me and be like, "Oh, saw you in Future, man, killing it." And I'm like, Tony Schiavone.
You want a Tony Schiavone text though to read the way that he would talk, right?
We're running out of time. I'll have to call you back.
Love to get on the phone with you.
And so I
Text me when you're in town.
It's Sting.
Fuck yeah, dude. Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging.
I'll never leave you hanging. I will never leave you hanging.
It's okay.
So I basically
we'll edit that. It'll look a lot better in post.
Yeah, put it like we did on the first try. So I just pitched it to Conrad. I texted him and I was like, hey, if you talk to Rick, can you ask him if he'd be interested in doing this? Here's the basic idea. And he was like, I'm actually sitting next to Rick right now. We're at a football game together. He's in. And that was that simple.
That's fucking incredible. That's so cool. I wish I had cool stories like that.
I think you got cool stories.
Nah, dude, nah. But no, seriously, do you know which? Obviously, he lent you that robe, right?
No, let me get into the robe. Once I had that robe made by the WWE designers. I'm blanking on the gentleman's name, so I apologize. But same gentleman who makes.
We'll do
Bobby
the research
Roode's.
and we'll just put it over. It's like someone. It'll be my voice on your lips.
I
and
love
we'll
that.
like
Bobby Roode's robes, Charlotte Flair's robes, and he made my robe. And it took a little convincing because he was like, these are expensive. And most people who don't want them, who aren't wrestlers and they tell me they don't want them, when I get back to them, they don't want them. And I was like, no, I'm doing this.
Yeah,
I'm getting it. And it's been in my closet. I wear it any chance I get. I love it.
Yeah, I could imagine if I had one of those, I'd be wearing nothing but that in the morning.
Yeah.
come down, grab a cup of
It's so
coffee.
heavy. It's so luxurious. When the light hits it, it sparkles. It is probably the most expensive clothing item I own. Probably. It is definitely the most expensive clothing item that I own. And I love it because it makes me feel like Ric Flair.
Woo! So right now, me and Ron are about to geek out on an old school WWF at the time board game. So to check out a visual on this epic battle, go to YouTube and find the episode on the Avenged Sevenfold channel, or better yet, go to drinkswithjohnny.com where we have archived all of your favorite Drinks with Johnny episodes, as well as some exclusive merch. We've got shirts, we've got shot glasses, we've got pint glasses over at drinkswithjohnny.com. But right here, we're going to keep things rolling and talk a little bit more about wrestling. All right, let's move into some more fucking wrestling, because this is something that, you know, when we talked about doing the show together and everything like that, I was really excited to talk to you about wrestling, because there's not a lot of people that I know that, like, in my world that are like that fanatic about wrestling. So I don't know if you're into doing this. You could totally say no. We can cut it later. Don't worry about it. But I used to play this board game as a child. I don't know if you've ever seen it before. And I used to have to play it by myself.
Okay.
No one else would play with me.
I can tell you already. I'm in.
All right. So let's get this set up and play this game while we continue this interview.
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So it's basically a matchup dice game.
Okay.
We're going to start out with 4 of our choosing of wrestlers here and 4 power cards. You can line them up underneath however you want. I'll get to that in a second. Basically, you're going to roll the dice. You go around, and if you land, say I'm rolling, because you're going to clearly pick Hogan first overall.
I don't know that.
If I
put
land,
me in a corner.
if I land on Hogan, you and I enter the ring, and we roll.
Oh, we're getting it.
We do a single dice roll each. Highest point wins. You got to win 3 times to eliminate that wrestler from the board.
Okay.
Make sense?
That makes it seem like you can get more with 2 dice.
All right, cool. So let's start off with we're going to pick our all-star teams. Okay. We got the Big Boss Man. We got Mr. Perfect. We got Earthquake. We got Jake the Snake Roberts. The Ultimate Warrior. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. The Macho Man, Randy Savage. Hulk Hogan. And the Rick, the Model, Martel.
Okay, well, and I get first pick?
You're going to get first pick.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to build it together like a classic Survivor Series team. And I'm going to go, and I know you think that I'm going to go with Hulk Hogan off the top because he is the biggest draw, but also I am familiar with his past recently. So...
It wasn't all vitamins?
So I have to go with I think who is the people's favorite, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. He's going to be my number 1 pick.
Okay, that's your number 1 pick. All right.
Number 1 pick.
Well, you did leave Hogan out there.
I did.
On my 3rd episode of this show, I had Jake the Snake Roberts.
And he was.
I gotta be loyal. I gotta be loyal, and without letting you know who my 2nd pick's gonna be in case you don't take him from me.
Well, I mean, you made a horrible mistake, as I'm going to reunite the Mega Powers.
Oh no! I left it wide open.
Even though I talk trash about his racial issues, I could get over that because he's Hulk Hogan.
And now you've got the powers.
I got the Mega Powers together. We winning.
All right, no. See, now I'm just gonna put you got your baby faces over here. I'm gonna start putting together some villains to go
like
against
you guys do.
Okay. Now, so this is the one that I'm gonna go to next because of his work inside the ring. Mr. Perfect to me, Kurt Hennig was an incredible wrestler inside the ring.
You don't know how hard that hurts me.
And I know that he wasn't always a bad guy. He had definitely had some run-ins as the babyface in WWF at the time. But overall, I remember him for being a little bit of a bad guy. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect.
You know what? That's okay, because we still going. We got a great team put together, and I'm going to go with my man. We're just a stacked team.
Yeah,
tall,
I see what you're going to go for.
People.
I see what you're going to go for.
You think you know who I'm going to go
I
with?
think I do.
I mean, I think I have to go with the Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, I do it. You've
We
already
got
got
a classic team building
It's
over
a good
here.
thing that this is a board game and not like a real matchup. 'Cause
Oh,
yeah.
If this was a real matchup in the late '80s, you looking up at the lights. My team's going over.
Easy. But you know what? I'm gonna ride with my bad boys. I'm gonna take the $1 Million Man because everyone's got a price. Ted DiBiase, baby.
That's a beautiful pick. And I gotta go with I think one of the most underrated big men to ever do it in all of wrestling. And I gotta go with the Big Boss Man.
Okay. So now here we're left. I got to pick between, because we're going to do 4 and 4. They always give you an extra one. So you're not, it's kind of nice because, you don't feel like you have to pick one or the other. I'm going to go with, Earthquake I'm lining up all my bad guys over here. Earthquake was predominantly in the WWE early on, a good guy. He wasn't really perceived as a bad guy until he made it over to the WCW. So I think I got to go with the model.
You got to. I mean, the model, he just breathes arrogance. That's the bad guy team right there.
I mean,
It's
me and him have
Survivor
that.
Series.
That's what we got. We got a little Survivor Series going on. Cool. So now we got our teams. So have you ever seen this game before?
I think I have. I've never played it, but I've probably seen it. I used to buy all the WWF catalogs and stuff. I had Wrestle Buddies, had the little beat 'em up sand ones that you pick back up, but no, I don't think I've ever played this before.
That's incredible. I love that. Okay. Again, you being the guest, you're going to start us off. You got 3. Looks like we got our first match.
Gotta fight.
Oh, yeah. Right. Now you pick your man against mine.
Okay.
Jake's guns are in the ring.
Oh.
He's ready for a DDT.
Then we gotta go against the Big Boss Man.
Okay.
Dun, dun. Oh, I would watch this match. Oh, that's a good match.
That'd be a good match, man. That's a good heel baby face right
style there. Of Jake the Snake versus the power moves of the Big Boss Man with Cobb County, Georgia on his side. Who's going to win? We'll find out.
Let's find out. All right. Now we're going to roll at the same time
you
here.
Use your power card?
If you want to use it at any time.
Are you not going to use yours?
I'm not going to use it yet.
Okay,
I'm not going to use it. I don't want to waste it.
Up, then.
I don't need it against the boss man.
Oh,
I got confidence. I got
you got the DDT?
2, 3. Ooh, Snake Eyes. No, that's
the headlock.
All right,
They
1,
tied up.
2, 3. Now that's Snake Eyes. This is fucked up. This has never happened in this game ever.
This is a great match.
1, 2, 3. Damn.
Oh my God!
It's no fucking way.
This is the best match I've ever seen. Fight forever.
They're
Fight
too evenly matched.
forever.
They're too evenly matched. Whoever fucking knew. We should have been booking this shit.
This is awesome.
1, 2, 3.
Ah! The Big Boss Man with
He got the first round.
Slam at
You got the
the
first
end.
round. Now you turn over one of your guys.
Nice.
You got to get all 3 to win the match, though.
I love it.
It's not over. No. You leave him
Oh,
in.
you
You got to get all 3 until you get the match.
Does he get the belt? Does he get to wear it?
He could wear it. Yeah, he could wear it.
Yes.
And he gets another one on either shoulders if you can think you can do it again.
Oh, I think I can.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Oh! Now I got Jake with the belt.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, Jake's got 2 now.
No, can I
now
use
is
my
it
power
you can
thing
use
now?
it anytime you
Okay,
want.
let's put it out.
All right,
Boom.
all right. Oh, that's 4. He gets 4 added to the die. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he destroyed it on that one. Okay. Now you wasted your power card, my friend.
Then you gonna use yours?
I'm gonna use mine now.
Oh,
I don't
that was
remember what I
smart.
put
That
down
was a
here.
smart
I don't
move.
even- Oh, it's only a 1.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Okay.
No.
1, 2, 3. I still win! Jake the Snake takes the boss man out.
I can see that.
You can
I
see him just taking the python,
Yeah.
laying it all over.
Yeah.
That's
That's
bad.
okay.
All
He's
right.
got a
You
Confederate
take your
flag
bets.
on his arm.
I was gonna say it was an interesting pick for you, my friend.
Yeah.
I've been
It's hard
rewatching-
to be a black man wrestling fan. You gotta forgive a lot of things.
Well, especially if you're gonna go back to the old school stuff, right? No, it's funny. I never realized that as a child, and then I've recently, since listening to 83 Weeks with Conrad and Bischoff, that I started rewatching all this stuff from when I was a kid. I got the WWE Network, and I started at 93 in WCW. I finished that, now I'm back to WWF 93. And I saw Big Boss Man come out a couple times. I was like, He's talking like he's the baby face, and I looked down and I was like, is that a Confederate flag on his arm? I was like, that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's crazy. That's why then Nails had to come get him.
Nails, oh man, Nails used to creep me out as a kid.
He was super creepy with that voice.
Fucking
and his
super
face.
creepy.
Okay,
All right.
Okay, so now you roll.
Now I'm gonna roll. Now that we both understand how the game is played, let's continue a little bit of some wrestling talk while we're doing this.
Okay.
I understand that you did Get High, Watch Wrestling with X-Pac, formerly 1-2-3 Kid.
WWE Hall of Famer.
WWE Hall of Famer, the one that gets credited a lot for putting together a lot of the fights as far as moves and stuff goes,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, underrated. Just a real good mind in wrestling. Only person I know who was a member of both NWO and DX.
And ooh, damn, that's right. It's Ultimate Warrior. It's Ultimate Warrior. I gotta go get the Ultimate Warrior. All right, I'm gonna take the perfect plex.
Oh
I'm gonna
no!
do it.
You found the Ultimate Warrior's weakness. Someone that knows how to wrestle.
That's such a good call. I hope there's a lot of people like who love wrestling and watching that, because if they don't, that fucking call went right over their fucking head. Oh, I thought Ultimate Warrior was way cooler than Mr. Perfect.
No, you're wrong.
All right, buddy. Let's count it off. 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Son of a bitch.
You know he's always going over strong.
He's been shaking those ropes for way too long. Dude.
He's
1,
blown up.
2, 3. Damn it! 2 in a row. All right, now I got to play Perfect's card. See what I got. Ooh, he's coming with the power slam. You ready for it?
Ooh, okay.
The power
Let's see what the
slam
Ultimate Warrior has.
on the Ultimate Warrior.
Boom.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Wait, I can't add that fast. 8 and 7. I win.
Oh,
I
that's a
win.
good one. That's a great
All
battle.
right. So we're chipped up over here finally. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Nice. Yeah.
You took out my favorite player.
I love it.
I
I
forgot
love
that I
it.
still have this
I'm
here.
sorry that it had to be with the Ultimate Warrior, who I don't think is a great wrestler, nor was a great person. But you know,
I don't know about his personal life.
I don't guess that's true. That's not me. I want to get in his
I don't know
business.
about that.
I
I don't know
heard some
that.
things.
So what's it like doing the getting high and watching wrestling?
Oh,
Is that just fun? Or is that just...
It's a blast because it's it's a rare thing. Who knows if we'll ever do it again? But it was just a great experience because it's all the things that I love and enjoy. It was kind of like Mystery Science Theater meets pro wrestling. So we would
That
just
sounds fucking incredible.
yeah, it was great. We just get together. We would edit together just these clips of old wrestling that we like, and we would just make fun of them. Be me, X-Pac, some other wrestlers who are in LA, or some comedians who love wrestling, and we would all just. It was always just a celebration of the weirdness and the silliness of wrestling, and we'd get real stoned. And a lot of people told me that some people would travel out of town. We'd get people from Las Vegas, from other cities, who come to these shows because they were like, they were like me. They were like, I don't drink. Most events aren't pushed at the things that I like to do. And they go, and they're like, I love getting high and watching wrestling. And I was like, me too.
Who doesn't? That's a great...
Yeah.
I mean, it goes hand in hand.
It really does. It
Yeah.
was a blast, and it was fun that X-Pac was always so open, and like because a lot of people would be like, oh, I don't want people to know that I smoke pot, and he was always like, people know what I've done. I was in pornographies.
Yeah. This is the main event, by the way. This is what's happening right here.
Oh, no.
1, 2, 3. Damn it.
Yeah.
Of course, Macho's gonna get the first blood. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see what I got from my power card. Hold up. Ooh, flying body press. I don't know if he's done that too often in his career.
No,
but
I don't think
did
I've
that.
ever seen.
Yeah, I did. I wasted it.
Yep.
All right. Here it is. For all the marbles. This one's for all the marbles. 1, 2, 3. Oh! That's pathetic. A 2 beats me. It's terrible.
Bam!
All right, now I've got one competitor left. All right. And I want to know, okay, what was the first thing that got you into wrestling? What was it? I know from watching Giggle Fit, I saw that it was your uncle that took you out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so who was your first favorite and your current favorite, anything like that? What can you tell me about your wrestling fandom?
My first memories of watching wrestling was seeing Hogan versus Earthquake, watching stretcher matches, watching them go at it, seeing the big balls, man, pretty much this board was my first memories of watching pro wrestling. Hogan, of course, was one of my favorites. The Ultimate Warrior was one of my favorites, and then I got older into it and was, into like the work rate of it, and to the people who were just so good at making me hate them. I used to always hate the bad guys. I was like, that's what they're good at, and so
that's why they become some of my favorites.
Exactly. Love Jake. Love Mr. Perfect. Eddie Guerrero is one of my favorites. Mr. Bret Hart, always. Right now, it's people like Kevin Owens, Matt Riddle. I really like. There's a guy named MJF in AEW, and he is like the most old school mean heel.
I fucking love that.
And he's the best. He's probably the best heel in the business.
I'm glad you brought up AEW because I think you did some commentating work with them, right?
Yeah, well, I did for one of the side shows for their weekend events. I did.
You're green.
1, 2, 3. Earthquakes, not
If
there.
they're on the board, I'm gonna keep it going.
I did a thing for another company called GCW, and I got to commentate a match with Jerry Lawler.
So you did something with Lawler, right?
Yeah, I got to commentate one of his matches. Ooh, Jake.
Come on, Jake.
And it was really a dream come true because I was a big, not just a wrestling fan, but big Andy Kaufman fan. And so, you mix the two together. Love Jerry Lawler. Pulling ahead. I got no cards to play.
1, 2, 3.
Nice. Don't count out the Macho Man yet.
Oh man, he's going for it. He's gonna get the top rope. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
son of a bitch! I can't catch a break.
He's climbing to the top.
Oh no! 1, 2, 3. Come on, Damien, help me out.
Oh, the Macho Man with the beautiful elbow drop. Oh, Elizabeth, we're coming home. We're gonna kiss you. That's a mixture of Macho Man and Red Fox. I'm coming home to you, Elizabeth.
Hell of a game, man. Hell of a game.
Oh, the pleasure.
Man, I'm glad you played. Now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a product I'm a fan of, Rescue Water. When you're going to have a long night and you don't want to feel that hangover the next morning, reach for a Rescue Water. One before you hit the bars and one before you hit the bed. It's definitely going to make you feel a lot better in the morning, I promise. So head on over to rescuewater.com. That's RESQWATER.com. Use the promo code DrinksWithJohnny to receive 25%, that is 25% off of your first order. That promo code again is DRINKSWITHJOHNNY. Drinks with Johnny and Rescue Water. What a beautiful marriage. So let's keep this thing rolling now. Now that we've gotten the wrestling fucking shit out of the way, I got my ass kicked. It also happened when I used to play by myself somehow.
Yeah, and people left. Like I got.
You never even had to play Hogan.
Oh man,
you never even had to play Hogan with a power card.
Yeah,
I got my ass.
And he was out there. He was hanging out with that.
You were hanging out with an extra guy.
You know Hogan got to do that. Like he did to Sid.
Quick question: while we're talking on Hogan, Hollywood or Hulkamania?
Oh, Hulkamania.
Oh man,
Hulkamania. That's what
I mean, when I was a kid, Hulkamania all the way, but. When I look back at it now, man, there was something fucking awesome about Hollywood Hogan.
Oh, that's a great villain. That's
yeah.
an amazing villain. But I grew up off the say your prayers, take your vitamins, and I loved the red and yellow is what I grew up on. So.
Yeah, I can see that. I think that's how we all grew up on. Anyone who was a fan. So we've gone through some wrestling shit. Thank you for that, by the way. Thanks for playing the game.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's talk a little about what you're up to these days, man.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, like you're in Huntington Beach. You're at my house because you're doing a gig down the street.
Yeah.
At the rec room with the Merriment.
My crew, my Merriment Marauder crew, which is comedians that I just kind of always work with. My best friends, really. Gabe Dinger, Blair Saki. They're both really, really funny comedians, and it's kind of my first time going out on the road and putting together the whole show. A lot of times with comedy, and it's like, at first it's just me headlining and the club is picking everything else, and sometimes that kind of like messes up the whole energy of it because it's people who are like not like my style, or sometimes my audiences would hate my openers, and this is the first time where I'm handpicking everything, and it's just a full like hour and a half show of comedy that I really like.
I like that. I mean, I could parody that a little bit with traveling as in a band. You know, there's a lot of times you go and there's a house opener or something like that the promoter thinks is in your wheelhouse, and you look at it and go, it's not really in the wheelhouse. And then, as you said, you bring out somebody else and that is in the wheelhouse, and like all of a sudden everyone's having a lot better time. Nothing against the other local performers or whatever, but it's like it says something to create an entire package that you're going to bring to that.
It just makes it fun, and I love working with local comics. It's great when I go into big cities that have good scenes, but sometimes you're going to places that don't have that great of a scene, and
don't name those places.
I won't, but but it just does my audience a disservice to have someone open that you have to sit through. Like, the best thing about our comedy, I think, is like it's real optimistic, real fun, and a lot of people who don't normally go to comedy clubs come out to see it. And if they have to sit through some like bad act of someone just hating on women or hating on minorities, that's not fun. I mean, if you do it, great, sure, but like some people just real lazy.
I don't know if I would say great if you're doing that.
No.
You're such a positive man, because I'm sitting there going, did he just say that? And gloss over like, oh, if you're doing that, great.
Some people is what they like to do.
He is a much more tolerant man than I am. I thought I was a pretty tolerant man, but I'm learning all new things here today.
The positive and the negative. It's got to all exist. But I just like having my friends, and I'm having a blast. And Blair in particular, it's nice because she kind of brings in, she has her own group of fans that come out to just see her. And it's helpful for me because then I get to introduce them to me. And even if they did just come to see her, I also got their money.
Always a good outlook on life, Ron. I'm fucking digging it. So the other project that I'm really excited to see is your thing with Adam Devine, Jexy.
Yeah.
That looks like a really fun movie.
It is a really fun movie.
And I heard on your podcast the other day you went to the premiere for and you were making a joke that was one of the first times that you would get to see yourself thin as on the screen, not doing a voiceover.
Yeah.
So how was that? How was that premiere?
Oh, it made me so happy. First of all, they gave me free popcorn and red vines, and that's like a $50 value. So I was just like, you guys just giving this away? So that never happens in movie theaters. They're never giving it away.
No,
even if it's old, they don't give it away.
No, it's quite the opposite.
And so I was like, if you're in a movie, they'll give you the popcorn and candy?
That's all you have to do is be in the movie?
That's all you gotta do.
Dude.
I loved it. And yeah, just seeing my name up there and I think because when I first moved to LA, it didn't take me necessarily too long. It took me probably about a year to where I was in a show and I had a very small part in a Kevin Hart movie. And I kind of like, I didn't necessarily take it for granted, but I was also like, okay, this is what happens. And I'll probably be in another movie next year. And I'll be in a movie after that. And then it took like 4 years of me getting some smaller things and doing some voiceovers and getting to some things like killing Hasselhoff and stuff like that. But it took
some of the higher points.
But it took a long time to be in another movie, and so I would really, when I went to the screening, I brought my son and I brought my friend, I brought my girlfriend, and I was like, let's just sit and enjoy it and really take it in, and just have people come out and want to shake my hand and take pictures with me. And my manager was there, and she was like, you're becoming a much better actor. You're more natural, and there's all these things that just, and plus, I love Adam Devine. He's a guy, when I first came out here doing his house party shows, was a real big boon for my career. He was one of the first people that was nice to me when I moved out here.
That's super cool.
And so it was a big deal for me, and I think this is one of his best roles. I think he's really, really funny in it. It's a silly movie. It's just real fun. It's about a phone that tries to murder you. Dude. It's great.
As Bobby the Brain Heenan would say, as a peon, I didn't get to see the premiere, but just from the trailer, it is a fantastic concept to a movie. It looks absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah, the phone is hilarious.
Yeah, dude. Even just a trailer, I'm just like, I want more.
No, it's good. I think
I'm excited about that. The other one that I'm excited about going back, I don't want to keep harping on the Trolls thing, but man, Trolls World Tour, I went and saw think The Lion King or something like that. And it was one of the previews that came up, and me and the wife were at Lion King without our kid, by the way.
That's how I
Dropped
saw
him
the
off at
Lego
preschool.
movie. I saw the Lego movie like that, and I was like, where are these kids here?
Before I even had a kid, me and my wife, like, we've been dating forever. Like, we used to go into the kid movies and like matinees and be like surrounded by kids. We're like, we're those people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I didn't even figure it out. I was like, this is a movie adults are gonna go see. Everybody's gonna go see the Lego movie, and
Of
it
course.
was just, and I could have brought my son, and I
Came back like, do you know what movie I just saw? So, tell me a little about this. Speaking of kids things, or I don't even know if it's a kid thing, but you have a new Netflix cartoon kind of thing coming out called Hoops.
Yeah, oh, it is not a kid thing. It is not a kid thing. Please,
So that was
kids,
a great segue.
Yeah.
Is what I just set up.
Yeah, children, do not watch Hoops.
Do not watch Hoops. Do not watch Drinks with Johnny.
But it's a cool. It's a real cool show. It's just about a basketball coach who's kind of like down on his luck, and I'm his assistant coach and best friend, and I'm also dating his ex-wife. So it's a little complicated
nice.
there. Yeah.
So he's got to take advice from the dude that's banging his ex-wife.
Yeah. He should. I'm clearly the better man.
That's perfect. That is absolutely perfect. I love that. I love that. So we got into some of the shit that's going on right now. Can you tell me anything I might not know about that you're excited about coming up in the future? You got some projects coming?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of things. I mean, Jexy is the main thing, that I'm real excited about October 11th. But I'm working
October 11th, everybody.
October 11th
Check
in
out
theaters.
Jexy.
Go see it in theaters. Make people surprised that I am a box office draw.
But you will not get the free candy that Ron got.
No. But if you show me your receipt, I will send you $1 off.
$1 off what? You're not going to finish it. We're not going to let him finish it.
No, yeah. I'm not sending you anything. But I'm shooting this game show. There's a new network platform called Quibi coming out. And
what's this about?
Quibi itself is like, I think it's an app just for phones, and it's like for shorter. It's just shorter bites of entertainment. It's like 10-minute shows.
Oh, awesome.
So it's kind of like the same production value of these 22-minute or hour shows, but 10-minute shows. And the show I'm doing is called Nice Ones, and it's basically a comedic game show in the vein of At Midnight or Chelsea Lately or things like that, where we bring in some comedian friends and we kind of talk about what's going on in the world today, but we try to do it from a positive spin. That's kind of the point of it, is to make talk about negative things that have gone on in the world, but with what's positive about it.
Silver linings, making it to get a good spin on it.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're going to shoot that at the end of October. I'm really excited about that.
That's very cool.
People are in LA and they want to go to a taping, please, who will need friends. It'll be great. Look it up. It's called Nice Ones. It'll be shooting in end of October.
I love it. The only problem I have with this, I just started this show and it has like a 20-minute format on YouTube. And now you guys are gonna undercut me with a fucking 10-minute.
I'm just giving you information.
I just fucking started. We're gonna have to fucking edit our shit down to 7 minutes. 6-minute abs. All right, we're gonna do 6-minute abs.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make content, but people can do what they're doing crunches.
Oh, cool. I'm glad that you brought up the putting a positive spin on things. Mm-hmm. So I know on your podcast, Getting Better, fantastic podcast. It does make you feel better when you
Thank
listen to
you.
it. It does.
It makes me really happy. That's what I like. What I get out of it the most. Because I don't really get money out of it, but I get a lot.
Do you mean to tell me there's no money in what I'm doing here? Motherfucker. Steered me wrong.
But I always feel good when people are like, oh, I love your joke. I think you're really funny. But like on my podcast, I've had people be like, you made me look at my outlook on life. You made me go think it was okay to go and see a therapist. And those are the things where I'm like, oh, that's big.
Yeah.
When you're like, that's being a positive force in the world. When I'm like, when people are like, oh, because of you talking about your therapy, because you talking about your weight issues or whatever, it made me feel less alone about it. That makes me feel happy.
That's awesome. So you just gave me a very serious answer, and I appreciate that. But I've got a couple things over here that I got a couple of friends that do some pretty stupid things when they're drinking. Mm-hmm. And these are my friends. No one of name or anything like that.
Shoot.
Okay, cool. We're gonna start off. Little meatball here. My friend met one of his all-time favorite band members in Noodles of The Offspring, and he kept offering him a drink. And about 10 times in, he realized, hey, I'm Noodles. You keep calling me Dexter. Dexter is the lead singer of Offspring. So this guy was continually calling Noodles Dexter, and it's one of his favorite bands of all time. So he obviously put a very big foot in his own mouth. Mm-hmm. Woke up feeling terrible about it the next day. Can you make him feel a little bit better?
Yeah, easily. You still got to meet him. It happened. I guess he will not forget that. So you were memorable. And that was all you want to be, whether it's good or bad. You wanted him to remember you, and he will. He definitely will, probably because of the restraining order. But he will definitely remember you. So it was great.
It was great. It was great. All right. I like that. I think my friend's going to love hearing that. Another one you might like. My friend, first time he ever met Chris Jericho, was giving him all these kind of praises about, man, I used to love the way you came out with that acoustic guitar and hit him over the head. And then he was corrected by Chris Jericho and said, hey, dude, that was Jeff Jarrett. And he went, oh, shit, that was Jeff Jarrett. And felt really bad about it the next morning. What do you say to somebody like that?
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Because Chris Jericho is amazing. You don't want to mix him up with Jeff Jarrett. But I will say, best thing I say is that is easy mistake.
Easy mistake.
They both have long flowing hair. They both have outfits that make them look like sassy aunts. It's not something that he should be upset about. It's like, yeah, you should be okay with that. As far as hitting with the guitar, I guess Jeff Jarrett never had, or Jericho never had a guitar.
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett was the one with the guitar, but you can't feel bad about that. They both have great hair. It's beautiful.
Good looking guys.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think my friend's
Sassy
I think my
aunts.
friend's watching this and feeling better already about
Yeah.
himself. So, I have this other friend. Got drunk on a tour bus. Went to bed in the middle of the night. Mistaked. Have you ever been on a tour bus first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of course you have. You've been.
Oh,
doing that
I've
scene.
done.
You've been that.
I've
scene.
been in tour buses.
You've got it all.
I've been on
I don't know why I
Greyhound
asked. I'm
buses.
sitting talking to Ron Funches.
I've been on
You've
double-decker buses overseas. I know about buses.
Shit, I hate those.
Oh, I
double-deckers,
know.
by the way.
Yeah, they're scary.
Anyway, so he mistook one of the bunks as the restroom, and his best friend's father happened to be in that bunk. So he pissed on his best friend's father's face in the middle of the night and woke up with no recollection of that and had to be told about it in the morning. What do you say to a guy like that?
Say, your best friend's probably really appreciative that you did that. I'm sure he had some issues with his dad that were unresolved. I know I do. I think we all do. If you pissed in my dad's face, I would secretly be like, you shouldn't have done that. But deep down, I would have been like, thank you.
That's fantastic. I'm pretty sure my friend's feeling really good about that one.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one so far.
My friend feels really good about that. So lastly, my friend was naked in bed with his new girlfriend one night. And before sex, he tried to sneak out a fart, which, we all have.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
You've been like, man, I really shouldn't do this, but, gotta try. I'll be discreet about it. But he accidentally puts a fat shard out. And he ends up marrying this woman years later. So it worked out, but at that moment in time when that's happening, can you give some advice to my friend that sharded before sex?
Yeah, you just found the one because she didn't leave. So clearly, It's meant to be. If they don't leave, that's a test. That's a test of love.
Yeah,
that was passed.
the
So
power
that
of
was-
love, as
that's
a
beautiful.
wise man once said.
You felt comfortable. You felt relaxed. You could be your true self around her.
Are you saying that you should continue to shart throughout the relationship?
Always.
Keep
do
testing it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a true test, people out there. You can't shart in front of your loved one. You got to rethink everything.
You do. My girlfriend would leave me.
When affirmations go real. All right, man, that was a lot of fun. Thanks again for hanging. I had a fucking blast with you, man.
Thank
I had
you.
a new friendship with you, I
Yeah.
believe. This was a lot
playing
of fun.
games.
Playing
Let
some
me into
fucking
your
games.
home. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime you're coming back through, or if I'm back up in LA, I'd love to hang, do that
Great.
whole thing. Why don't you tell some of the people out here where else they could find Ron Funches?
The easiest place is my website, ronfunches.com. Find out my dates, where I'm going to be, if I'm going to be in your area. I'm always touring, never stop. I love doing it. I got my podcast, Getting Better Podcast. That's
Fantastic.
out everywhere. Check that out. My special, Giggle Fit, that's on iTunes, Google Play, everywhere, $5 or less. So please find that. And then just Jaxie, the movie, out October 11th with Adam Devine, Michael Pena, Alexandra Shipp, Charlene Yee. Go see it. I don't think that they're not pushing it. I don't think they think it's gonna do well. But let's prove them wrong.
I'll prove them wrong. I like the idea of this movie. This is
I
gonna be
think it's
fantastic.
good.
It's gonna be
I
good.
would tell you, I've been pretty honest about my things if they were bad or good, and this is a pretty good movie.
I mean, you were
Go see
pretty
it.
honest about killing fucking Hasselhoff.
Bad movie.
All right, man. Thanks again. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, pleasure.
Thanks again for listening to the podcast, everybody. If you liked what you hear, head over to drinkswithjohnny.com and check out all of our episodes. And keep your episode library up to date by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a rating, give us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Till next time, cheers.